Welcome to Blonde Cards and Crafts. Let's make something together. Hello crafters and welcome to my channel if you're new here. Welcome back if you're a subscriber. Today we're going to make this fun type of card. I'm calling it a layered circle frame card. You could call it a tiered one as well. I haven't seen anything similar to this on YouTube or Instagram. The closest I came was 2 layers, I think, with Iced Images 9 months ago. She had out a video. So yeah, so whether this is my design or it's out there, I'm not too sure, but anyway, this is what we're making today. And I thought we'd use the Love from Lizi August 2024 card kit because there's so much came in that kit. And I've made a couple of cards and posted it on Lizi's channel, as well as I've made a card and a box on my channel recently. And links to those videos are down below if you haven't seen them. But I've so much product left that I really wanted to showcase it with a fun and quirky card. So this card, it's got lots of dimension, you know. I think this will be fantastic for a Christmas card. I have another idea using this style and I'll be bringing it to my channel soon. But I liked this because it will fold flat. Simply by doing that, the whole thing folds flat. So when it's flat, it measures 5.5 by 7.5. But when it's stood up, like so, it measures 4.5 in height. So the height from here to the top of the circle is 4.5. It's 3 inches along here and it's 5.25 inches along here. And I think this has lots of room for embellishing. You could go as tall as you like. It just means when you lay it flat, you'll need a bigger envelope. So the products I'm going to use are the Love from Lizi Stitch Nesting Circle Dies, and Lizi has a great selection of these on her website, from rectangles, arches, labels. There's just loads, and again I leave links down below. So I'm using the largest of this circle die. Now there's 21 dies in this nesting set. It's absolutely fantastic and I think great value for money. The diameter of this is 5.25, I think it is. Let me just measure it to be sure. I think I have it wrote down here. I do. The largest is 5.5 and the smallest is 1/2 inch. There we go. I already had it wrote down. So I think if you don't have circles or you want a nesting circle die set which has its circles really close together, this is a great set. Now you can see I've done every alternate die on one side and then the other on the other side, and the reason for that is they're so tightly nested. I found it easier to store them this way. So, you know, it looks like there's only 10 or 11 dies here, but there's 21. Right. I've also got some products from the kit, and I'm going to go through exactly what you need to make this. So I'm going to move this over and this over, and I'm going to bring out my scoreboard and we'll do a little bit of scoring. Now this was my little demonstration model that I made to see if it would work and how big it would be. I could make it smaller, so if I did these at just 1/2 inch in depth rather than the inch, then I think it would drop down the height considerably. So you could nearly, I think you could work it to fit it in a 6x6 envelope, but then it would be much smaller, and I felt this was a really nice display size to have. Okay, so let me bring out my scoreboard and we'll go through the pieces you need and the die cuts you need, etc. So I have some cardstock here that we will need for our base. This piece here measures 5.25 by 5.1/8. On the 5.1/8 side, we're going to score at 1 inch and at 4.1/8. That will allow our 3 boxes to sit comfortably in here. The 1/8 gives the extra room for the bulk of our cardstock. Next, we need 3 pieces of cardstock, and these measure 5.25 by 4.5. And on all 3 pieces, we're going to score at 1/2 inch, 1.5, 2.5, and 3.5. And we're going to fold these all like so. What we're then going to do is take this little tab and we're going to fold that over on the right, and then on the second score line we're going to fold this one over. We'll add some glue to our tab here, and then we'll pop that down on top. And when the glue sets, then we'll have a lovely little tube like this, and it's 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch by 1 inch. So I just gave it a 1/2 inch tab there to stick it down. And like I said, the 3 of these will fit inside this white piece. So we'll fold and burnish the 2 score lines here, and then our tubes that we make will sit in here like so. Now we need some of our frames to sit in here. So I have cut 5 circles using the largest die, and on these I will use the largest, and then I'm going to go in 1, 2, so this one here, and then I'm going to go in 1, 2 to this one here. So these 3 dies, you've got to imagine there's another die in between these, are going to make our frames. So you can see here, this die and this die is going to cut out our frame. And we're going to need 3 of these frames. Now, let me just... So I have my 3 frames here. And you can see I've cut them off at the bottom, because if we leave the frames the full size, if I bring it in over here, it's too long. So what I've done is I've put my frame in my scoreboard, and I have scored all these frames. And I've scored them at 4.5. Now these are cut lines, but I find putting my circle, my frame, even my full circles, of which we need 2 of these, by putting them in here and scoring them, we have a nice line, a nice guideline for cutting. Whether we put them into a trimmer, or use a guillotine, or cut with a scissors, we've got a nice straight line, and they're all going to be the same. So you can see here I've cut 2 of my 3 frames already, and I've cut 1 of my 2 full circles already. Now the reason we want 2 full circles, and you might decide you just want 1, is for it to sit in here like so. So this one will sit in here, but then the second one is going to sit on the back, because you can see there, you know, there's a lot going on where it's stuck down, and I thought this one would be nice. It will tidy it up really nicely like that. We can stamp on this one for our sentiment on the back, and I've got a little sentiment that I'm going to stick onto the front. So these are all the pieces that we're going to need to make our lovely layered circle frame card. I'm going to show you now the different pieces that I'm going to use to decorate this piece. So to decorate it, I've taken a piece of pattern paper, and this piece of pattern paper has got 2 layers of this. So there's this here and then another on top. I took my middle die, so the die that I used between cutting the frame out. So these 2 dies, we would have had 2 dies to cut out our frame. The die that fell in the middle is what I used to die cut this out, because I want this to sit over my circle, and it'll sit like so. Now I'll tuck this behind the box piece here when I'm gluing it all together, and it gives us a nice little white border. I didn't want to go as big as the frames that we have here standing up. I just thought when we're looking through like so, we get to see the whole scene, and I thought that looked better. Plus it saved me the top piece here, so I can use this image which was on the 6x6 again in another card. So that's the back piece. I've also taken, we had some lovely pattern paper and we got a great die as well. And I die cut out this piece. So this piece, it measures 5 1/4, and I cut the piece to and then put the die at the top and die cut it out, because we want this to kind of sit there nicely like so. So it'll frame, and I want to make sure, you know, that it sits nicely on there. So then I have, let's see, I've got some other ephemera here. This is the die cut that I used from the stamp set, and I'm going to pop this along the back like that. And I just feel it'll tie what's going on in the front to the back of our card, and it'll be a nice embellishment back there. I've also stamped out the sentiment, "See you soon," and what I did was I cut this out myself by hand and I fussy cut out the soon part, and I'm going to kind of pop that there like that, "See you," and then the soon, something like that. Or I might have this part on the actual frame and then have this here like that, so it'll be "See you soon." So something like that. I just wanted to stagger the sentiment. I thought that would look really cool. Okay, we also get one of the pattern paper pieces, and it's got lots of these little images on it. So I took the time to sit down and fussy cut them out. I don't mind doing a bit of fussy cutting. I was chatting away with my friend Benita while I was cutting these out, and yeah, it wasn't a bother. So you can see I have some acetate and red liner tape on these pieces. I don't have any on the little spade and the little blanket. I'm going to lie them flat on our panels here, and these I'm going to stick these between where our little tubes come together, so it'll look like they're standing up, because we wouldn't see a bucket lying down. Well, you would, I suppose, in the sand, but I thought it'd be fun to have them so that they actually stood up, and then when the whole thing is flattened, these will all lie flat as well. I've picked out a lovely one of the Lash Girls. Again, I've added a little bit of acetate to the back of her, and I'm just going to stick her in there so she'll kind of be standing up inside like that. So it'll be like as if she's walking back from having had a little splash with her feet in the sea. I also have this little ephemera piece. I thought I might decorate the back with this as well, and some of the little shell gems that came in the kit. I've also got some lovely little fish, or fishes. You can see them here. And I've got one of the lighthouses. Now, in the stamp set, there's loads of imagery, and I suppose I should really get it and show you. So this is the stamp set that came in the kit, and you can see here we've got the fish and we've got the lighthouse. There's also one of the little Lash Girls. There's an anchor, a hat, a little bow, a little sentiment heart plaque. And I had fun. I stamped these onto a piece of cardstock and I coloured them in, and I'll actually share that with you. I used my Spectrum Noir Triblend markers to colour these in, and I had lots of fun doing that. I coloured one of the lighthouses in blue and one in the red, and I'm really delighted with this. I would consider myself to be a beginner, really, or beginner intermediate at colouring using alcohol markers. I'm definitely no Jennifer Maguire or Christina, or I mean there's so many out there, Amy Orr, brilliant colorists. I'm not one of them, but this is my go at it, and I think it's good enough. What do you think? Do you know, they don't have to be light sources coming in from all directions and everything. So yeah, so I'm going to pop that video in of me colouring these in so you'll get to see it. But I've got those there. I thought I would pull out the red tones, because we have the pop of red in her bow and on the blanket and on one of the buckets as well. So I thought we'd pull out the red for the little lighthouse rather than using the blue one I have here, although it's lovely and it goes really well. Yeah, the pattern papers that I cut out from is this one here. And you can see all the little pieces. If you have a scan and cut or a Cricut, you could always pop that in and get it to cut them out for you. But I just sat down and fussy cut out those few bits from that. So that's everything now. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I coloured in my images, and then we'll go ahead and we'll do the assembly of our card and put it all together and decorate it. So I'm starting off by stamping some of the images that come in the stamp set. I'm going to stamp the lighthouse twice. I'm going to colour one in blue and one in red. I'm using my Triblend markers, and I will show you towards the end the different markers that I've used. I love using these alcohol markers, and I've used them on some of the white smooth cardstock that we get in the kit. Lizi always puts a white smooth cardstock in the kit so that if you want to colour using your alcohol markers, you can. So I always find this handy. I'm not very good at colouring, so please don't look at my colouring and think I'm any bit professional. I'm not. I just do it because I enjoy it and I'm having a go at it. I do watch a couple of different YouTubers who are brilliant at colouring. Christina is one, Amy Orr is another, Jennifer McGuire as well. She colours really great, but there are lots of them. I love watching Sam Calcott as well. I find watching her, I don't feel intimidated by her colouring. Kelly Taylor Cards is another lady who's been on YouTube for years, and she's just epic at her colouring. So I try to use the dark, medium and light shades. Now I have a plethora of the Spectrum Noir alcohol colouring markers in my craft room, and I don't gravitate towards them because I suppose pulling out 3 shades that's going to work for me seems like more like a hassle, to be honest. So the Triblends are really happy because I have my 3 colours in one marker. My friend Benita, who is a really good colorist as well, she doesn't give herself enough credit for it, but she really is quite good. What we're going to do is we're going to have a video chat and sit down and have a look at all my markers, and I'm going to pair them up. I've been keeping some toilet roll holders. You can see there, pause the video now and you'll get a look at the colors that I've used. But Benita's going to help me go through my colors and find the best blends to put together. I like doing 3 blends. I find that is the easiest, but you can do a 4 or 5 blend. So here I've cut all my pieces into smaller shapes, and then I take my Fiskars. This is the soft grip scissors, and I like to use that when I'm fussy cutting out. I find having a good light above really important. Take your time, use your left hand to swivel the paper around and just cut with the scissors. So I'm cutting the bottoms of our circle and our frame. I had that done on the other ones as I showed you previously. I'm going to add some glue to the 1/2-inch frame on our 3 boxes. I fold over from the left on the second score line down on top of our glue tab, and then that's those 3 done together. Perfect. Now for our base, I'll add one of my frames first. Once I have that on, then I'm going to take the blue box. This will represent the sea. I've glue on the bottom and on the front side. Then I'll add my pattern paper that we've cut out, and that'll be the waves and our sea. I'm going to add my little lash girl in there. And then I'm looking at the other bits where I want to put them. I know I want the lighthouse on the left hand side. We've got the little towel, we've got our little seagull. So I'm going to stick them all in. Now once I have this done, I'm going to look at my placement. And I'm going to glue this cream sandy coloured box in, and really I shouldn't have done it. And I realise it about now. Ooh darn, I shouldn't have done that. So I peel it back now. I did use quick grab glue. If I'd used the Kalal glue there, it would have been so much better, but I'm still able to glue in my frame. So now you've seen me make a mistake. Don't you do it when you make this card. So now I'm going to add my frame, my 3rd frame, And then I'll add my little standing up pieces, the umbrella or parasol, or a couple of buckets, and I'll glue down my little towel and the little spade, and then we can add glue again to two sides of our third sandy area. Isn't that lovely? So now I'm going to put my piece of pattern paper onto my full circle, and once I've that in place, I'm going to use a little bit of red liner tape, and that's just to ensure that it sticks firmly. I'll add some wet glue, pop it in there, and then it's ready to go. And isn't that a lovely little scene? And I'm going to add more to that later. I kind of cut out some more fussy cut some more little pieces from the pattern paper sheet that we got. So here you can see I'm looking, where am I going to put my sentiment? I did kind of feel I wanted the CU at the top in the middle, and then the soon there on the bottom right. I think that looks well. It draws the eye around the card because you're going from the lighthouse to the CU to our little miss and then down to the soon. I've stuck a couple of the fish that I stamped and coloured in as well on our waves, and I've stuck down that little anchor as well. Now I only put 3 fish in, even though we coloured lots more. I felt 3 was enough for this. And I will add more to that a little later. Okay, so I have my back panel stamped. I used the January 2024 Sending Sunshine Wishes for my sentiment on the back. I die cut out using the die that came in the kit and that lovely waves pattern paper there at the bottom. I've added a couple of more fish to that, and I cut out some more of the little pieces, like I said earlier, on the pattern paper sheet. So I'm just gluing them around as well. I thought it'd be nice if it looked like she had a friend. So there's another beach towel there, and I've fussy cut out a lovely book and some of the sunglasses. So I'm sticking my back panel down now, and I'm using the Collal glue for that, and just a little bit of quick grab glue across the bottom where my die cut was. I did look at using another piece of the ephemera, but I like the way it's looking, so I've left it off. So now to finish up, I'm going to add some of the blueberry blue peel-offs that we got in the kit. 3 to the front, I think, because we like odd numbers, and I'll add a couple as well onto the back, and again I will add 3 for our numbers. I've used the Wink of Stella sparkle brush around, and I'm going to kind of do wavy lines around the sea and the sand. I think when you look at it, having that little bit of glitter will look lovely. Now, before I finish up, I thought I'd share with you my making of the envelope for my card. I've made a 6x8 envelope using the 123 We Are Memory Keepers envelope and box punch board. You need a piece of 11 1/4 by 11 1/4 paper or cardstock, whatever you like to use for your envelopes, and you scored at 4 7/8 on 2 sides. And I'm sure if you have an envelope maker, you're well used to making them. You can see there my card folds flat, lovely, and it'll fit into this. I call these a bouncy envelope because there's a bit of bounce, bit of room in there for our card. So I'll add some double-sided tape to 2 sides here, and I'm just using my nail to gauge how wide a tape I'll need for this. So I'm going to use a 1/2 inch double-sided tape, and it kind of catches on me, and I'm, oh no, please don't stick. So it just comes off. I'm very lucky. So I'll use my stamping block. This is a straight edge stamping block, and that is really handy to actually cut the tape for me. And then I'll peel off the release paper on both sides, and I will fold over the bottom piece. I'm going to add some tape as well to the top, so I'll be able to close up my envelope. And then what I'll do is I'll add that piece of ephemera that we coloured in, the lighthouse that we did in the blues and greys. I think it'll go well with this colour envelope and with our card as well. You could also just stamp directly onto your envelopes if you like to embellish them using the stamp from the kit, and just colour it in, or just leave it black and white would also be nice. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there, folks. I hope you've enjoyed my video. If you have, you might give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and ding the bell so you'll be notified next time I post a video. I have really enjoyed using this To the Beach card kit from Lizi. I hope you've enjoyed my make as well. You can share your makes on my Facebook group called Your Cards and Crafts, and I'm sure Lizi would love to see your makes as well using the kit on her Facebook group. There are links to products down below in the description, as well as the other design team members, so don't forget to have a look down there and maybe pop over and see the other designers' cards that they've made. So that's it. I'm going to leave it there now, folks. I leave you with some images of the card, and until next time, take care, stay safe, and bye for now. Bye bye.